following clip has been taken from our 2023 Hunter Fighter Collection video with presenter John Parker. Follow the link in the description for the full tour.
So this aircraft behind me is our most recent acquisition to Hunter Fighter Collection, Hunter Warbirds. This particular aircraft was gifted to us by the RAF Museum, as well as a Vampire single-seat jet aircraft. In a competitive tender arrangement, they were disposing of some unneeded aircraft in the UK. We're very, very proud to be awarded this and the Vampire, which will be here later this year. The particular aircraft was received just prior to Anzac Day this year. We put it together as a team. The Hunter Fighter Collection technical team put this together in a period of 3 days, which was quite amazing. It's been on display ever since. The aircraft itself's finished in the colour scheme of Jack Cleland, who was the only New Zealander that we know of that ever served with the 8th Air Force, so it has an Anzac connection. We don't know too many other Commonwealth pilots that ever served with the 8th Air Force, so it has quite a connection here. Jack Cleland's relatives now live in the Hunter Valley, so it has added relevance there. So we're very proud of this, and in the future it'll be here for quite some years. We may eventually try to restore it to airworthy condition, but in the meantime we're very proud to have it on display the way it is.
For our visit, John had arranged for the daughter of Jack Cleland, Alison Lee, to talk to us about her very emotional experience of seeing her father's aircraft, restored as it is.
So my dad, Jack Cleland, was a fighter pilot during World War II. He was from New Zealand and actually did his training in the UK. That's where he met my mother, who was an English, she was actually a professional ballet dancer, but when war broke out, she was encouraged to join ENSA, which is the Entertainment of National Servicemen Abroad. And she and Dad actually met, I believe, in a troop ship off Africa. So she was essentially a war bride then, and she followed my father, or he followed her actually back to New Zealand, where with my 2 older brothers and my other brother and myself were born in New Zealand later. My dad actually passed away in 1970. He was quite young. I was a rebellious teenager then. So I didn't really learn a lot of his war history, and like many men of that time, he was not that reluctant to share. I'm sure he did with his mates, but not with his family. And so it wasn't until really 1998 when we were contacted by Warbirds over Wanaka, and our family was invited to be guests of honour along with Chuck Yeager. And we were down there for a fabulous weekend over Easter, 4 days of a wonderful, wonderful air show. And they actually had, again, a replica of Isabel that you'll see behind me there. Not this one, but they painted up another one as a replica. And it was actually, they rebuilt it with an extra seat in it, and my mum was able to go for a flight in it all over the airfield there, and actually did a couple of barrel rolls, which was the highlight of her life. And then I was living in Australia at this time, and as far as I knew, this plane had only been painted up for that occasion, but we had donated or lent a lot of Dad's memorabilia to the Wanaka Museum. Time goes by, and my mum passed away in 2000, and I had a lot of Dad's memorabilia that she had left for me. My daughter, Fiona, married a young man called Murray Ross, who was actually in the Australian Air Force. And he was very interested in my father's history, and we always sort of said that he only married my daughter because he knew that she was Jack Cleland's granddaughter. So last year, I was not aware of this, but last year at some stage, Murray discovered somewhere on Facebook that this aircraft behind me, which we had always believed to be in the Cosford Museum in the UK, was actually on its way to Australia. The Hunter Warbirds having made a successful bid for it and winning that bid over many, many other museums, I understand. And he contacted, I think, John, and established the relationship between me being in Newcastle and the plane coming to Scone. And between them all, they cooked up this plan to surprise me. So on Anzac Day this year, my son-in-law told me that we were going for a drive. He picked me up at 8 o'clock in the morning and we were going for a drive. Where are we going, Murray? It's Anzac Day, you should be marching. And he said, oh, never mind, we're just going for a drive, be ready at 8 o'clock. And we ended up here in Scone. And I walked in, there were a lot of cars here, a lot of people. And he shepherded me through the crowds and out onto the tarmac, and here is this plane. And immediately I was sort of ruffled. What are they doing, painting up a plane like this and not telling me, and then I walked around the back and saw Isabel 3, and I really just, I couldn't believe it. It was Isabel 3, and she was here on my doorstep in Scone.
For more of this 2023 Hunter Fighter Collection tour with presenter John Parker, follow the link in the description.